Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 5 to take a look at another brand new paid DLC car pack. This is the third one that they've added and it's called the Super Speed car pack. As with the last two, the easiest way to purchase this pack is to go to any house or festival site in Forza Horizon 5, go to the buy and sell tab, go down to car packs, and then it will be the first car pack here. So yeah, super easy to get hold of. Its release wasn't actually all that smooth though. Some people had purchased it via the Xbox app or Xbox store or whatever, expecting to be able to drive these cars on Tuesday, which is when it was intended to release properly when the update came out. But it kind of didn't work. When you clicked on it, it just showed a blank screen with no cars in it, because they somehow did it wrong, basically. So now that the festival playlist itself has started, which happened on Thursday, it does that now all work perfectly, luckily for Forza Horizon 5. Anyway, as you can see, it includes 4 vehicles: the 2022 Golf R, 2022 Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS, the 2020 KTM X-Bow GT2, and the 2019 Elemental RP1. It's priced at £3.99 here in the UK, which isn't bad in itself. However, it's not included with any version of this game, even if you spent £100 essentially on the Ultimate Edition back when it launched a couple of years ago. And this is now the third paid car pack, so they are starting to add up a little bit. So far, it's not actually too bad, but if they keep releasing paid car packs every 2 months or so, which is what they've done with the previous 3, it is going to start getting pretty expensive, especially if there's another year or 2 of lifespan left in this game. So let's start by taking a look at what I think is the least interesting car of the pack to get it out of the way, the 2022 Golf R. Now, I don't mind the Golf R, it's a good car, but it's not all that exciting, and we do have many Golfs in here already, including the 2021 Golf R, which was part of the car pass. So we've essentially paid for 2 model years of Golf in a row. Now, this is slightly improved over that car. Power is up to 315 horsepower from, I think, the same 1.98 litre engine, where the previous one only had 288. But weight is also up by about 50 kilos, so overall its PI is rated about 4 higher. So yeah, I just don't really know why they felt the need to add another Golf. But anyway, it's here, and I think that's kind of all there is of interest to say about it. So let's go and see what options are available for this car. So, being a car pack rather than a prize vehicle, it's not gifted to you in a particular colour. You choose from the list of manufacturer colours, which is why I went for the blue, because, well, the others are even more boring, so not a lot of choice there. There's also not a lot of choice in the way of upgrades. You've got your usual Forza Aero, which looks absolutely horrendous, although you do have the hatchback wing, not the really truly horrible one. There are a couple of engine swaps. There's an inline 4 turbo Rally, which is a pretty standard engine, and an inline 5 turbo, which I think is from an Audi of some description, possibly an RS3 maybe, because they seem to use those. You can also rear-wheel drive swap it if you want to ruin it. I don't know why you would, because all-wheel drive is brilliant. What we do need, though, is a GTI, so that we've got a front-wheel drive Golf, because I think that would be kind of fun. Other than that, though, all of your options are kind of as you would expect. There's tyre compound and tyre widths, as well as track widths and the such. Then you have all of your usual drivetrain options, all of your usual platform and handling options, and all of your usual upgrade options here, including that, if you really want to do that to your Golf R. So then, Golf out of the way, let's take a look at the Emmental RP1, which I thought was a type of cheese, but apparently it's a car, which I've never heard of before. But yeah, it reminds me very much of the Vool. It's sort of a track car, and kind of looks very much like that. There's tons and tons of these cars out here now. It produces 280 horsepower and 475 newton meters of torque from a 2 litre engine and weighs only 632 kilos. So it's super fun to drive this thing. Rear-wheel drive, S1 class 867, and it has some quite interesting customization options as well. So let's go and take a look at those. Unlike the Golf, the Emmental actually has quite a few interesting manufacturer colours, which is why I went for this rather nice metallic red, but there is also a white, a blue, a very bright green, which I think looks pretty good, black, orange, the red that we've got on, and yellow. But yeah, seeing as it is named after a type of cheese, I think we probably should paint it yellow. Just not that yellow, because Forza's stock yellows always look horrible, so I think we need to make a sort of slightly oranger yellow. Yeah, perfect. This, though, does have a few more options than the Golf, as I hinted at when we were driving it. First of all, there's 2 engine swaps, just like the Golf. There's a inline-4 turbo rally, which I think might actually be the same engine, possibly, that you could put in that. And also a racing V8, if you want to V8 swap it. But yeah, I don't really know why you would, because it's quite fun to drive as it is, and you can all-wheel drive swap it. But where things get quite interesting is aero and appearance. There's your usual Forza aero on the front, but similarly to the Vool, there is a couple of options from Elemental to put on this, including, well, that, as well as a wing delete. But that is truly, truly incredible. Although actually it sort of fills in that bit in there as well. It puts a sort of grill there as well as a big wing. But anyway, how many downforces do I want? Yes, so I'm going to apply that. Other than that, though, it is kind of as you'd expect. There's all of your tyre and rim options, all of your usual drivetrain options, although something's missing there. You can't upgrade the clutch. Usual sort of platform and handling things, although no weight reduction, which kind of makes sense, and loads of power upgrades if you really want to, well, make it faster, which I don't particularly, because I think it's pretty fun to drive as it is. Then we have a couple of cars that I have heard of and I find incredibly exciting, starting with this X-Bow GT2, essentially the track-only unregulated version of KTM's latest, almost supercar, the latest X-Bows have turned into. It produces 600 horsepower and 720 newton meters of torque from a 2.48 litre engine and weighs only 1,138 kilos, not quite as light as the old X-Bows that were only 810, or as that Emmental RP1 that we've got in the pack, but still an incredibly light and incredibly fun track toy to mess about with, and being so much more powerful than that other car is quite an insane thing. And I mean, look how mad it is. And that's not all. You should see how the, like, cab opens. It doesn't have doors. It kind of hinges forwards, which is an incredible way to get in. Although I don't quite know how you get out if you roll it over, unless the hatch is explosive like the doors on an SLS. But anyway, it's in S2 class at 931 from standard, so doesn't have all that many upgrades and customization options, but let's go and take a look at the rather limited options that it does have. Now, the KTM is actually exposed carbon fibre, so, well, there's no options for painting it, basically, although I am kind of tempted to do it in a sort of KTM orange, but none of them look quite right, so that might take some fiddling about to make that work. What I have noticed, though, is that there are advanced painting options, so let's take a look at... It's one of the ones where you can... we'll do that. So, yeah, maybe I should make an orange for one half and put a black on the other. I think I might, actually. Beautiful. So, just like the Golf, there's not a lot of upgrade options, although it's kind of more to be expected with this, because the 2021 Golf actually had two body kits, and then the 2022 one had nothing, which was a little bit disappointing. But this is kind of understandable, because, I mean, it's already pretty extreme. There are a couple of engine swaps. There's a V8 and a racing V12, although I don't know why that's really necessary. you can all-wheel drive swap it, but I don't know why you would. It's got pretty good grip from those Michelin slicks that it's got on it. It's got the usual sort of tyre and rim options, and a couple of drivetrain options, but no clutch, for example, and no driveline swaps. You can do your brakes and suspension, but that's about it there. And it's even quite limited in terms of power upgrades. But if you really wanted to, you could increase the power output by quite a bit, even on this standard engine, which would then give you 969 horsepower and 1093 newton meters of torque. Which I don't want to do, because this thing is quite insane to drive as it is. And saving the best till last, or at least my favourite of the pack, the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS, to give it its full name. Essentially, the car that Porsche told us would never happen, taking the GT3 or GT3 RS engine, I can't remember quite which one, but anyway, that 9,000 RPM revving 6-cylinder engine from the 911 GT cars and putting it in their smaller mid-engine sports car. That 4-litre engine producing 493 horsepower and 450 newton meters of torque, although it's not quite as light as I thought it was. I thought this was like a light track-focused car, where the 911 had got quite heavy, but the Cayman's also put on a bit of weight over the years, now weighing 1,415 kilos, which isn't loads, but it is more than I expected it to be. This thing, though, sounds absolutely incredible. Even in Forza, they seem to have done a decent job with the sound on this. Don't get me wrong, it's not as good as the Essenza Lamborghini, for example, that was in one of the previous packs, but it does sound pretty good. Which apparently, in reality, this is one of the best things about this car, is because the rear windows they've replaced with intakes. So you have intake noise like rushing past you, you have that 9,000 RPM of flat 6 revving behind you. So apparently this thing sounds truly incredible in reality, and yeah, I'm surprised by how good it sounds in this game. This is rated right in the middle of S1 class, 850 PI from standard, but let's go and see what options are available for it to bring that number up a bit. So the selection of colours on the Porsche isn't bad at all either. It has the yellow that it comes with from factory, although yellow in Horizon 5 always looks a bit too pastel-y to me. But this of course matches the little accent on the lip of the wheels. Then you have a sort of bluey grey, a blue, which is what I went for because I think that looks really cool on here, and goes reasonably well with the yellow on the wheels and the little yellow 12 o'clock stripe and a couple of other details in the interior. You have red, which I never really like all that much on cars, so I didn't go for that, and you have a sort of silvery white. What I might do, though, is see if we can try to match the outer lip. Oh no, the outer lip's actually outside the outer lip. That is quite interesting. So that's probably group 3. Never mind. Apparently you can't paint that yellow bit. Slightly annoying. Never mind. So then, the upgrades and customization. Let's head over to conversion first, where there is an engine swap. The 3.8-litre flat 6 twin turbo. So that is another Porsche engine. Is that a... Oh, I know what that is. That's a GT2 RS engine, isn't it? Interesting. I like that that's an option. I do like that that's an option. There's an all-wheel drive drivetrain if you want to ruin it, and twin turbo if you want to ruin it. Although if you put the GT2 RS engine on, it's a twin turbo anyway. There is also Forza Aero, which doesn't actually look too bad on this car, because it doesn't have the stupid tow hook thing, it's just the canards. So yeah, unlike how it usually is, that's not actually too bad. And then the rear wing, well, is, because you go from the rather nice GT4 RS swan neck wing that you have from standard to that. why? Why would you not even just make it the size and width of the... Anyway. Other than that, it's all kind of as you'd expect. Usual tyre and rim options, usual drivetrain options. Again, no clutch upgrade here, which is becoming a bit of a theme on these cars. That's all as you'd expect there. And you can, of course, increase the power. And that is going to do it for today's video, taking a very first look at the 4 brand new additions in the Super Speed car pack here on Forza Horizon 5. The Golf was quite a boring choice, I thought, given we already have the 2021 model, so this is only a year newer. Doesn't have as many options as that car in terms of customization and things, and we can drive it right now in the base game of Forza Motorsport, so quite why it was added other than as a sort of bit of filler content to make the pack seem worth more. I don't really know why they felt the need to put that in. The 2 track cars were super fun, the KTM X-Bow GT2 and the Elemental that I'd never heard of before. That Elemental having that ridiculous rear wing option, which they seem to offer for that car in reality as well, which I find pretty insane. Both of those super fun to drive as they were, but not much in the way of upgrades other than that wing that I said about on the Elemental. Again, I think that KTM X-Bow is coming to the new Motorsport. I'm not sure how or when. So essentially half of this pack is available in that game, I think. But anyway, those 2 were super fun. And then my favourite of the pack, the GT4 RS, which really is the car that sold this to me. I just love the idea of that GT3 engine or RS, whichever one it was, going into the smaller sports car. I love that they finally did that after saying they never would. And the sound isn't half bad either, which usually isn't the case in Forza, so pleasantly surprised by how good this thing was. But yeah, at the end of the day, that is probably the only car that the pack's worth buying for, because the 2 track cars are super, super fun, but I probably will never use them again. And, like I say, Golf's not all that interesting. But anyway, not too bad a pack overall, and like I say, it is only $3.99, but still there is that question over whether they should keep introducing paid car packs. So far it's not been too bad because there's only been 3, but yeah, I don't think they should keep introducing these, because if they add them every couple of months, this game's going to get super, super expensive, and if you have to buy it, even if you bought the £100 version, I don't think that's quite right, to be honest. Especially if they, like I say, add them every 2 months for the next 2 years, which is probably the lifespan we expect from this game. But anyway, I think it was worth it for the GT4 RS in this case, and that is going to do it for a very first look at the 4 new cars in this Super Speed car pack. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next one very soon.